begin in Shavasana, so lying down on your back on your mat. Just taking a moment to get settled in. We are beginning our Beyond the Pose series, which I have done before. If you've taken classes with me before in previous years, we will be working through the Yoga Sutras and the 8 limbs of yoga for the next several weeks. And I will be sharing information each week about what we're working on. And this week we're going to begin with Ahimsa, which is nonviolence. When we begin to delve into yoga and go beyond the pose, beyond the physical practice that keeps our bodies feeling good and our being centered, we begin to incorporate the principles of yoga. Ahimsa is one of the 5 yamas. In short, it is the principle of nonviolence. This doesn't only mean nonviolence in a physical sense towards others. It's much deeper than that. Ahimsa also encompasses violence towards ourselves and all living creatures. It's an attitude of universal benevolence and a spontaneous expression of the highest form of love. The complete absence of violence from the mind, the body, and the spirit. In your physical practice, Ahimsa can look like pushing yourself or resisting from pushing yourself into a pose that your body is not arriving at. By not pushing your body beyond what it is available to it right here and right now, you're practicing nonviolence towards yourself. It can also be self-talk. We can be kind of mean towards ourselves sometimes. So this practice reminds us to be more gentle. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to have lows and self-doubts, but we can begin to reframe that negative self-talk and learn to have a little bit more love for ourselves. Take a deep cleansing breath, and we will begin with a toe squat. So coming out of Shavasana into a kneeling pose. This won't be a very long hold. From the kneeling position, just tuck your toes under, and you can walk the hands out if you'd like to start at a more gentle place. It can be a little intense, so just walking the hands out to where it feels comfortable, and then maybe walking the hands back and all the way up eventually until you feel where you'd like to be with this stretch. Stretching the bottom of the feet. Finding our breath. And place the hands on the mat. Untuck the toes, tops of the feet to the mat. Sitting back towards your heels. Then maybe walking the hands back behind you for a little bit of an ankle stretch, lifting the knees off the mat, wherever feels good to you. Resisting the urge to go deeper in, resisting that need to be in the fullest expression of the pose. Just finding where you want to be today. Lean forward, plant the hands on the mat, tuck the toes back under, and slowly come up into a dangling ragdoll position. Alicia, I'll have you take your blocks. And anybody wants to take this position instead of dangling all the way down, you can place blocks under your hands, aligned under your shoulders, flat back, crown of the head reaching towards the mat. Or you can grab either elbow, feet hips distance apart, and just let your head hang heavy. Let your spine release, bend your knees as much as you need, and maybe rock side to side gently. Releasing all that tension in our spine. Each exhale, sinking down, letting gravity pull you towards the earth. If your feet are not hip distance apart, bring them hip distance apart now. Bring your hands at heart center. Turn the toes outward and come into a Malasana squat. You can be here or place a block even, or a couple of blocks, books, a pillow underneath, sitting in a more supported position. Elbows to the insides of the knees. Bringing the shoulder blades together. Heart center open towards the front of your mat. Spine nice and long, reaching the crown of our head. Check in with your breath here. If at any time you are feeling like this is too intense, feel free to take any restful position that you would like. As you check in with your breath, see if you can begin to find a nice, even breath, even flow, no pause between the inhale and exhale. Close your eyes and tune in. Notice where you're feeling sensations. Notice the urge to shift, to move. Last breath here. Plant the hands Turn the toes in, release the blocks, and make your way to tabletop. Bring your big toes together for a wide-legged child's pose. Knees width of the mat. Hips sink down towards the heels, walking the hands out, and bringing the forehead to either the mat or to a block, books, maybe your forearms. Find where you feel most at ease in this pose. The goal here is not to push ourselves, but to listen to our bodies and find where we'd like to be today. Opening our heart to the earth with each breath, letting go of stress, tension, worries, and fears, letting the earth hold this for you. Feel that long line of energy all the way from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. Imagine a golden light of healing energy flowing with each breath. On the next inhale, gently lift the head, walk the hands back, and come into tabletop. Draw the right knee forward for pigeon, bringing your shin near the front of the mat wherever it lands. You can place a block underneath your hip or your thigh for a little extra support. Left leg comes out long behind you. Hands in front, pressing away from the mat to start. Fingertips spread nice and wide. Gaze comes between the hands. If at any point you feel you would like to come down closer to the earth, feel free to do so. Again, tuning into what your body needs today, not what you think you need to be doing. Not comparing ourselves to what we did last week or where we think we should be. If your mind starts to wander, come back to the breath, using our breath as an anchor throughout our practice to tune into our bodies. Three more breaths here. Gently remove any props. Maybe take a brief child's pose before moving to the other side. Bringing the left knee forward. Again, using any props you need to feel supported in this pose. Hands pressing away from the earth, shoulder blades together. Gaze comes between the hands. Close your eyes and listen. Listen for any little messages, any signals your body may be sending you. If you'd like to come all the way to the floor, feel free to do so whenever you're ready. And if you aren't, that's perfectly okay too. Wherever you need to be today. And gently release. Coming into tabletop. You can take a child's pose briefly if you'd like. Just to stretch out. Release that pose. You may want to grab a blanket for a little cushioning on your knees or fold your mat over as we prepare for dragon. So having our blocks nearby. Tabletop, wrists stacked underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. Walk or step the right foot forward to meet the hands. Outside of the right hand. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Just a little back bend here. Inhale. Fingertips reach, interlace, and come behind the right knee. Make any adjustments you need for alignment, making sure your hips are square to the front of your mat, and then gently feel into that lunge. You can tuck the back toes here for a little support if you're feeling wobbly. If your body is calling you to go deeper into the pose, you can walk your right foot out a little towards the edge of the mat, bring your hands to the mat or to blocks on either side of that right foot. Notice the narrative in your mind by suggesting a variation in this pose. Do you feel like you need to do it? Or are you listening to your body? Are you being called to go deeper? Last breath here. On the exhale, gently press back, toes pointed towards the front of the room. Little counter stretch here. Release the blocks and move back through tabletop before coming to the left side. Stepping or walking the left foot forward to meet the hands. Inhale, arms reach towards the sky, cactus the arms back, little back bend, be gentle here. Inhale, fingertips to the sky, interlace, and place them behind the left knee. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears and gently feel into that lunge. Squaring the hips, checking in with our alignment. And when I say square the hips, it's whatever feels good to you. If it does not feel good to you to have your hips square, find where it needs to be for you. We're listening to our bodies. Everything I say is a suggestion. And whenever, if you feel called to, take it to the floor, deepening the lunge. Being gentle with our knees here. If at any time, just a reminder, you need to come out of the pose, feel free to do so. Notice the narrative. Any negative self-talk, acts of violence towards yourself. Are you telling yourself you aren't going deep enough, that you're not doing it right? Send your breath to that voice and blow it away. Last breath here. Exhale, gently press back into that half split, nice and slow. Toes pointed towards the front of the room. Release the blocks. And come back through tabletop. Knees stacked underneath the hips, wrists under the shoulders. We'll prepare for thread the needle. Right arm draws up, fingertips towards the sky, and feeding it through that space between your left wrist and your left knee. Coming to a resting position on your shoulder. And you can walk the left hand out or place it wherever you'd like for support. Let your weight be in your shoulders, sinking into the earth. Press through the left hand, gently unwinding. Coming back to sitting on your heels for just a moment. Maybe taking a few arm circles, shaking your arms out. Maybe rolling the shoulders. And back through tabletop. Opposite side, left fingertips up towards the sky. And feeding through the space between the right wrist and the right knee. Resting our weight here on our shoulder. Press through the right hand, gently unwinding. Taking a couple of shoulder circles one way and then the other. And coming into Sphinx pose, belly to the mat, elbows stacked underneath the shoulders, fingertips spread nice and wide, forearms pressing into the earth away from the floor, legs come out long behind you. Gaze comes between the fingertips. You can also choose to place a block between your hands and rest your forehead if you'd like. Or you can just let your head hang heavy as well. You're feeling some tension in your neck, that might feel nice. Shoulder blades drawing together, opening the chest, the heart center. Breathing through this space. Let go of any tension in the rest of your body. Notice if you're clenching your glutes. See if you can send your breath there and release. Last breath here. Lower all the way down, resting your head on your forearms just for a moment. Pausing here, maybe taking a cleansing breath. And gently roll over to your back for a simple twist. So you'll stay seated. Laying on our backs, feet hip distance apart. Maybe just windshield wiper the legs back and forth, gently coming into this pose. Drawing the knees back through center, press through the soles of the feet, lifting the hips, shifting them to the left, and then dropping the knees to the right. Arms come out to a T, gaze comes over the left fingertips. Make any adjustments you need to make to feel supported in this pose. If there's some space between your knees, sometimes placing a pillow or a block there can relieve some pressure on the hips. Coming back to the breath. Notice how the breath feels in this pose. Notice as our bodies are twisted here, how it feels to breathe into our bellies. Gently draw the knees back up through center, shifting the hips back to the middle, and drawing the knees into the chest just for a moment, releasing the lower back. Drop the feet down to the mat, press through the soles of your feet, lifting the hips, shifting them now to the right, letting your knees fall to the left, arms out to a T, gaze over the right fingertips. Again, making any adjustments with props, anything you need to feel supported here. I'd like to invite you to repeat an affirmation. If you haven't practiced with me before, I like to use affirmations during our classes. You can repeat this to yourself silently if you'd like, if you feel called to. And the affirmation here will be, I am exactly where I'm meant to be. I am exactly where I am meant to be. Notice what comes up for you. No judgment. On the next inhale, draw the knees back up through center, shifting the hips back through the middle, and drawing the knees in towards the chest. We'll come into a supported bridge. So grab a block, laying flat on your back, feet hip distance apart here, pressing into the earth, lifting the hips up and placing the block underneath your sacrum. If you're at home, you can use books, maybe a couple of pillows here, just to create a little bit of elevation with your hips. Tucking the chin in towards the chest. Hands can rest on your rib cage or at your sides. Palms facing up to receive, palms facing down to ground. If you'd like to move into a higher position with your block, if you feel called to do so, resting your sacrum on that longer side of the block. Just being aware that it is a little less stable here. And release the block, lowering the hips all the way to the floor. Bringing the soles of the feet together and letting your knees fall open for Supta Baddha Konasana or reclined butterfly. You can place pillows, books, blocks underneath your legs if you'd like to bring the earth closer to you. Play around with where you want your feet to be. Maybe extending them out longer towards the end of your mat, or drawing them in closer to the groin. I thought someone came in that door. Feel free to stay here or extend the legs for our final Shavasana. Let your breathing come back to normal. Feeling fully supported by the earth here. Let your feet fall open. Arms to your side. Take up space. Allow your body to just be. Noticing your breath, but not working to change it. Begin to let go of the practice. Begin to deepen your breathing, bringing some awareness back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. When you're ready, coming into a seated position facing me. Take an inhale, circle sweep all the way up. Hands together, exhale, hands at heart center. Another big cleansing breath. In through the nose. Hold. Exhale through the mouth. Let it all go. Thank you so much for joining me this evening for this practice of Yin Yoga and for the practice of Ahimsa. Tuning into our bodies, practicing nonviolence towards ourselves, quieting the negative self-talk and the narratives and stories we tell ourselves. I hope that you can carry the benefit of this practice throughout your evening. And I hope that you'll join me on Thursday for a continuation of the practice of Ahimsa through yoga, nidra, and yin. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and thank you again for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.